Awesome. Thanks, Terry. And thanks, everybody, for joining us today. We are so glad you're with us. This should be a fun and interesting session. It's going to be both a continuation from our last How to Win the Race session last month, but then also, if you missed last month, that's okay. You'll be able to catch up and learn plenty of things and catch up with everybody else. So I will go ahead and turn this over to Terry to get started. But once again, thank you so much for being here today. We're excited to have you.
Thank you, Emily Gray. Good day, everyone. Emily is the one who helps everyone through the races and the entry, each and every process. She helps all of us guide us into coaching, into staffing, and all of that fantastic stuff. So it's always good to know Emily, and it's always good to pay attention. And so really, really glad and happy that you are here. Some of you who were at the first session, we're going to do a really cool review. We're going to make sure you've got it all. And then many of you invited many, many more to attend. Good for you. I promise you won't be left behind. Nobody gets left behind in this race. So we'll go through those steps once again. We'll blow right into the judges' criteria, and we'll ask the important question is, why would we win a race? And how do we win a race? And why is it important? And what are other ways to take another route or another course that may turn your entry into a race that you didn't even know, or a win that you didn't even know was possible. So there's many, 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 many cool ways to win a race, and it applies to many of the opportunities and initiatives and projects that you will have in your life. So I hope there's a lot to take away. This is designed and driven to be interactive. I am looking into the chat. Cool, cool, cool. Welcome, Ireland. Thank you for being here. India. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being in the house. Brazil, hello to you. Wow. Germany, awesome. India, thank you, thank you. Many more. Feel free to jump into the chat and add your where you're calling from, and we'll be utilizing this chat quite a bit throughout the next 50 minutes. So let's jump in on how to win a race without burning up your fuel, how to optimize your vehicle and get on course. Cool. So, like good courses, there's typically not a straight line. And in fact, in the entire universe, there are no straight lines. Even Einstein proved that even light, which they thought had traveled in a straight line, bends around orbital forces. And so, one of the lines actually found in nature is named a Fibonacci spiral. And the Fibonacci spiral, while no straight lines are found anywhere in the universe, Fibonacci spiral is found everywhere in the universe, from faraway galaxies to a snail, to a leaf, to artwork, to a hurricane. Even tornadoes follow this arc that you see in this pathway. You see that pathway marked with the what, the when, the how, the where, the who, and ultimately the why. And you may have heard somebody by the name of Simon Sinek, a past colleague of mine, who gave a great TED talk on Start with the Why. How many of you have heard with Start with the Why? It's been a very, very popular TEDx talk, and I'd invite you to listen in and tune in. And it's all good and fine to start with the why if, in fact, you've got yourself a why. And so a lot of times there's why anxiety when you jump into college or university and you don't know your why. But that's why you're here. And it's all good. So if you don't have a why, it's totally cool. I will help you on what to start with. Okay. And in that pathway, I'm going to suggest that we nurture and start with passion, absolute passion. And why is passion important? Well, if you're sitting with a coach, you're sitting with a judge, you're sitting with a job recruiter, you're sitting with your friends, you're sitting with people that you've got to bring along, that you would like them not to sit with you, but to stand with you. And then once you've got them standing with you, you want them to move with you. Passion is the fuel that will do that. So, what is passion? Well, passion comes from a couple of places. You can look at the definition up on Wiki and you'll find a variety of things. You'll find that passion actually comes out of pain. If you look at the definition as traced to the Romance languages. It comes out of pain and often comes out of pleasure. And that's actually true. So a lot of your passion can come from experiences that you have had in your life that set deep pain or challenge or trouble. You can convert pain into passion. It does not have to be your personal pain. It can be pain you witness. It could be something that pains your heart. It could be rising out of COVID. But that area of passion is your fuel, your rocket fuel that will send you on a moonshot in your journey. So passion is profound. It's important. It's opportunity. Passion can come from two places. It can come from a painful experience, a painful memory, or the pain of the planet, the pain of suffering from too much plastics or too much trash or not clean water or compromised communities. That, for empaths like us, is a place of pain that we can turn into a possibility and certainly into a passion and put that on a pathway of performance, into a pitch, into even prototypes, and ultimately land towards purpose. And purpose is deeply connected to your why. So if you don't have your why, those whys can be a daily why, they could be your big life goal whys, but that pathway of passion, performance, and purpose really helps outline what we do at Enactus, that pathway. And it's also that pathway of our races. And so when you exhibit passion, first and foremost, then judges in the races and coaches and all those watching you will pay attention, because one of the key things that they're actually investing in, believe it or not, is not necessarily the project that you put forward. One of the key factors they're looking for is team. When you take this to life and you go far beyond the races and you take this into the race course of your life, and when you look at investors investing in you and your projects, they'll look at a couple of key indicators. One is, who is your team? Who are you as individuals? Who are you and your team? That's one. They will look at what's in it for them, profitability, profits, prosperity. Do I have equity in this project? Do I have what's in it for me as an investor in you? They will also look at what's your opportunity to market your project, to get it out there in the world, to share it on social media. Is people picking it up and talking about it? Is there a buzz? And then in the other quadrant that they'll look at is, what is your impact? Are you making a difference? So I, as a coach or a judge, will look at you and go, is this the right team? Do they have a lot of passion? Because if you've got a lot of passion, first and foremost, then the project that you have, the ROI that you present, return on investment, return on interest as well, return on impact as well, then they will look at those things next. But if they can't get past the fact that, yeah, somebody is looking at you and your team and say, they're not passionate, they're not confident, that team doesn't have it. I like their project, but what about the team? So that's the first thing. We really want to focus in on the importance of passion. In fact, it's so important. It's one of our core values at Enactus. It's one of our 4 core values at Enactus, with integrity, passion, innovation, and collaboration. So one of the things I ask you to think about and nurture is the pathway of passion. And then just quickly, you see at the top, you see this little thing called the happiness of pursuit. So in the States, we have this crazy language in our Constitution. It's called the pursuit of happiness, the pursuit of happiness. We have the right to the pursuit of happiness. Well, that kind of means that you're on a pathway and happiness is somewhere out there at the end of that path. But if you flip it and if you think about the happiness of pursuit, then you might appreciate that you can already find happiness. You can find happiness by waking up in the morning and searching for a moment of gratitude, gratitude for the things that you have that matter most. And for that, I would like to ask you to do the following thing. I'd like you to just close your eyes for a moment. Just close your eyes. Absolutely close your eyes. Unless you're driving, unless you're doing something important and you're not at risk, just close your eyes And take 3 big, deep breaths. Breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. Hold it, breathe out. Second breath in. Keep your eyes closed. Breathe out. And on the third breath in, keep your eyes closed. And I want you to imagine in your mind's eye, the theater of your mind, what person in your life had the most influence on you? What person in your life has the most amount of impact in your life? Who is that person that really touches you deeply in your life? Who is that person? If you see that person in your mind's eye, go ahead and pop them into the thread if you'd like to. If you'd like to hold it to yourself, it's fine. That could be a living person. It could be a friend. It could be a family member. It could be a teacher. It could be somebody who wrote a book, somebody who's passed, somebody who's no longer with us. But what person in your life had the most influence on you? What person had the most influence on you? And let's look at the threads, Em. Yeah, don't be shy. Just want you to drop into the thread is what person had the most influence in your life? What person?
It's a bit of a quiet group. Nobody has said anything.
Yeah, don't be shy. What person had the most influence in your life? Okay. Thank you. Gotcha. Gotcha a couple. Okay. We're starting with family. That's pretty powerful and important. What person had the most influence in your life? Think about it. It may take a moment to think about, I understand. But I can assure you, my pastor, thank you, my mentor, beautiful, beautiful, my brother, my mentor, my pastor, Krishna, Hare Krishna, my parents, cool, my father, excellent, good, thank you, cool. So when you think about the person that had the most influence in your life, my older brother, my parents, thank you. It takes a leader. So when somebody jumps in and starts to populate the thread, then it gives permission for the rest of us to jump in and be okay. You should be okay and confident with your answer. That's the place of passion and purpose. And so there's no wrong answer here. Absolutely no. My grandpa, my grandparents, my mother, my parents, some commentary about my mom. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Cool. So when we think about the person that had the most influence on your life, so a lot of us, when we're on stage or we're presenting or we're thinking in terms of how to win a race, how cool would it be to be the person that's the most impactful on the judges and the coaches and those around you? How cool would it be to be the ones that said, wow, out of all the races and all the teams and all the social media posts, I remember yours. I remember you. So when you drill down and say, when we close our eyes, you can open your eyes, by the way. When you close your eyes and imagine what person had the most influence on your life? And you can ask, and I've asked this all over the world in many, many cultures, what person had the most influence in your life? A key common denominator is a person who is interested in you, not because they were interesting, because they were interested in you. That said, if you want to have influence over others, don't try to be interesting. Many of the projects, many of the presentations, some of the short films attempts to be interesting. If you reverse that and work on being interested in the audience, interested in the judges, interested in the audience, then right away you will have included them. So what does interested in a project look like? It means you went into the marketplace, you went into the field, you went into the problem, you went into the challenge, and you were interested. You were curious, and you turned that curiosity from a problem into a solution, from a passion into a purpose. So when you think about your presentations, think about the audience that is watching and think about how you're going to engage them. Does the audience take information very, very quickly? If I talked rapidly and packed in this hour, would you understand better or worse? If I used spaces and pauses and asked you to interact and helped you come along, is it helpful? Is it possible then also in your storytelling, you can use spaces and places much like that? Cool. All right. So the pathway, the purpose, no straight lines. You're going to take people on a journey. It's okay to take people on a beautiful journey and bring them along. Provide that level of passion that says, I like this team. They're interesting. And the thing is, when people invest in a project or a business, if you don't have the team, they're not going to invest in you. And if they do invest in your project or your business, they don't want you to fail because what's in it for them is probably money back or probably impact. And there's very little room for failure. But if they believe in you and your passion and your team, they will see you through failure to get you to success. They will become one of your team members, one of your greatest allies, one of your greatest supporters. So I'm going to take you quickly on a pathway of passion, performance, and purpose. And you can see over there in the purpose and the why circle there, the 17 sustainable development goals. And of course, we talk a lot about the 17 sustainable development goals because the world is talking about the 17 sustainable development goals. That's called stable datum in the world that says there's a reference point to hang on to those 17 sustainable development goals with the 169 sub-point targets underneath. So I encourage you to use those. Let's go to the next slide there. Ems, and I'm going to ask you another question here, guys. We're going to do a quick passion test. So come on, you got to jump back into the thread here. All right, guys, I would like you to look at these words: status, money, creativity, happiness, social impact. And I'd love you to put into the thread the two that matter most to you. Which two matter most to you? Status, money, creativity, happiness, social impact. So I'm going to give you a moment, jump into the thread, pick two, place them. Cool. I see a lot of great answers: happiness and creativity, creativity and social impact. It's not easy. Happiness. Somebody bet everything on happiness. Interesting. Creativity and happiness. Social impact and money from Liam. Creativity and social impact. Brazil, happiness and social impact. Money and social impact. Okay, good, good, good. All right, some really interesting money and creativity. Okay, great. So let me stop on money and creativity. For those of you who put Krishna, or for those of you who have a belief that we were born in an image and likeness of a great creator, or even if you don't, there is an opportunity at the point of birth that we are born with abundant creativity. And creativity is its own currency. And if you're born with abundant creativity, then creativity can find you money and happiness and social impact and status. So that's a nice little argument for creativity. It's part of creation and part of our opportunity that we're born with unlimited, abundant creativity. And it's that currency. So that's a nice vote for creativity. But many of you used many different answers. And the fact of the matter is that when you have a team and even yourself on any given day, your priorities may absolutely shift. You might wake up tomorrow morning and you know you need some money. You need some money for some reason. You might hear an influencer that has a title. They have status because they're a government official or they have a title or they're a team leader. There's a certain sense of status. And you may say, wow, I kind of wish I had that status because, wow, I'd like to have that influence. You might find that happiness of pursuit or the pursuit of happiness, either one, is the ultimate nirvana of what we want most in life. And so, overarching, when we pull out to the greater context of us, we may choose to love happiness. I mean, who could argue with happiness? That's pretty cool to have happiness. Social impact. Well, when you look at Enactus, we focus on the power of social impact. Okay. So there is an argument for any one of these. And the answer to your answers is there is no one answer. The answer is your team, yourself, on any given moment may shift your priorities. And that's perfectly cool, perfectly okay, perfectly understood. The judges in the races will come from the same space and place. They might be a title because they're the CEO of a rising company or an established organization. Many of our judges have a lot of resources. They've got a lot of money and they may have money to invest. And some of them love the art of storytelling and creativity and the arts and music and all those emotive pieces. And then some of them might tick into happiness and go, wow, what has that team got? Because I want some of that happiness, that joy, that passion, that power, all of that in the happiness. And then in the end of the day, we often talk about what impact are you making? How do you measure your impact? What is your impact on society? What was the impact on you? And sometimes that impact can be just this big, heavy weight that falls down, and you got to do the data, you got to do math, you got to figure out the impact. But one of the greatest impacts that you can have is your proven happiness when you have passion. That's inarguable. If somebody says their life was transformed because of their Enactus experience, their life was transformed because they spent time working in the environments or with compromised communities or working with children or working on mental health, working on climate action, working on rethinking plastics, working on food, and working on the oceans, on all the oceans of possibilities there are to work on. When they see your happiness and your passion, it's hard to argue. It's the greatest opportunity you have in a race to bring forth your passion, show your happiness, because so we are in a hard space. And what we're often showing in our projects is daunting. It's hard. There's challenges. But a great opportunity for you is to show the joy, that light, the possibility, and it comes out in you. That doesn't mean we're not taking COVID serious. Of course, many of us have lost loved ones in COVID. It's tragic. We live in tough spaces and places, but the pursuit and the perpetuation and the show, the demonstration of happiness helps drive us. So at any one key point, you want to have your team members understand and appreciate one, two, three, four, all five of these key items, from status to money to creativity to happiness to social impact. I asked you to rank them. Kind of an unfair question of me, but it's an opportunity to have this conversation. Let's go to the next slide, Em. Cool, cool, cool. All right. So, boom. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the four corners that it takes to win a race. Hey, simple as that. Number 1, create. Number 2, criteria. Number 3, collaborate. Number 4, communicate. All right, let's just jump in and go, go, go. Let's speed forward. All right, cool. First of all, create your race journey. I mean, Emily does this so well. She sets the course each and every year. She started with just 2 races. Now we're expanding and we manage lots of races and the 77-second film festival. So here's the race. And Emily, I'd love you to speak to what's coming up next and how to set your race course. And anybody left behind, don't worry about it. Everybody is invited to come along. Emily?
Yeah, thanks, Terry. So All of you right now, hopefully, you have your progress reports submitted. Those were due within the last few weeks. So we are currently evaluating progress reports. This is the initial round of evaluation. So everybody's progress report is being evaluated. We have an awesome panel of Enactus alumni who are helping us evaluate those race projects. So soon we will be moving into our top 48 teams to our top 12. But before we do all that, you guys hopefully know that you have a 77-second film coming due on Monday on Enactus Plus, so you can enter that straight into the 77-second film festival. So that will not only meet your race requirement for submitting a film about your race project, but it also enters you in the festival for a chance to have even more opportunities as far as, participating at Enactus World Cup, having your film shown through Enactus social media and other outlets. So definitely don't forget about that film. I know sometimes it can seem daunting to try to pack your story into 77 seconds or just know where to start. I mean, we're all facing issues because of COVID. Some of us are still, quarantined in our homes. We maybe can't get together with our teammates as we'd hoped, but this is your chance to be creative, start that, thought of how can we, do this together, problem solve. So we're very excited to see what you all submit for the 77-second films, and know that while it is required for you to submit a film for your race project, it's not going to be evaluated as part of your race entry. So even if maybe you don't get to make that all-star film you'd hoped because of some, circumstances with the pandemic or something else, submit it anyways. I mean, nothing's gonna, hurt your project, hurt your chances. This is just your chance to get your story out there. So don't forget about that deadline coming up on Monday. And then the next steps are actually going to come in May. So we've got a little bit of time here between your last due date and the next one. And that just allows for that progress evaluation. We'll be moving into those next levels. So we're taking all projects to the top 48. Once we reach the top 48, we'll be enlisting some subject matter experts from our education collaborators in the race and other organizations that Enactus partners with. And we'll be taking those 48 to the top 12. And then the top 12 projects will have a chance to submit an update. So those are the dates you see on the screen, the 2, 3, and 4. So in each race, the top 12 teams will submit an update. That's just your opportunity to update your impact metrics, anything new about your project that's maybe happened since you submitted in your progress report in February. And that way, when those top 12 projects move on to that very last round of evaluation to help us reach the top 4 or top 5 teams in the case of the Race for Climate Action, then we will know exactly where your project is at. Those projects will be evaluated. Then we'll reach that final level of those projects that will go on to present at the impact competition at Enactus World Cup.
Super cool, Emily. So number one is create your race journey. Emily has laid out these 4 legs of the race so easily. It's so easy to go to Enactus Plus and just join in, ask good questions, move along. On that step number 1, Emily talked about the 77-second film. And many of you have heard about this thing called an elevator pitch. That quick pitch. How do I get attention? Somebody's attention in the first 3 to 6 seconds. A typical elevator pitch, and there's science behind this, on average and effectively lasts about 21 seconds. That's a very brief amount of time to get somebody's interest. But the key is being, as I said earlier, being interested, something that's in it for the audience in a very short amount of time. So your 77-second film festival is actually extra time from an elevator pitch, number 1, or number 2, it's an opportunity to talk about you and your passion. So there's nothing holding you back from submitting 2 77-second films, or 3, or 4. You can submit a film about you and your team and your passion and all of that joy of your project. And I invite you to do so because I'm telling you, it's gonna work. It's gonna work for you, not only in the race, it's gonna work for you in your life, no matter how hard the information is, how big the challenge is, and how much impact that you want to present. Grab their attention, be interested in the audience, and tell them a beautiful story. All right, we're going to go into that exactly. So that's number 1, create your race journey. I have a bias about creativity and storytelling and music and the arts. Those are the emotional connections that people will remember you for. They may not remember the words you say, but they will remember how you make them feel. And the best thing that you can do from your presentation, your 77-second films, is focus on how people feel. Not what you say, but how they feel. You can do that with the use of space, music, etc. Let's go to the next slide. All right. Boom. Creativity. Number 2, criteria. Hey, this is pretty important. Whew. When busy judges take a moment to find out about you first, they're learning about several of you. They are the judge of many races in a row. They're watching 4 or 5, maybe 6 races. So how are you going to stand out? Here we go. I'm going to give you the key right now. And I give this to anybody who dare ask or dare attend. All right. I know I am the Chief Innovation Officer of Enactus, and that may feel unfair, but if I give it to everybody and you share it with everybody, then we just raise the bar wherever you are. We just make it better and better each and every time. So don't hold this information, share it with others, and let's all get better. Criteria. It is simply this sentence. Which Enactus team most effectively applied shared insights, business innovation, and entrepreneurial leadership to create a sustainable, positive impact? Which Enactus team most effectively applied shared insights, business innovation, and entrepreneurial leadership to create a sustainable, positive impact? Well, then that sentence is simply divided into 3 spaces and places for the judges to put their number in based on how they felt about you and your presentation and your 77-second film. So here's the big opportunity that I cannot believe teams don't take more advantage of. And that is number 1. Now, number 1 looks like it has lesser points, and you might have academic advisors going, hey, but look down there at positive impact. That's all the points. But where you start your judges matters a bunch. And sometimes it matters most. So here's the cool opportunity around shared insights. Insights gather value of information, learning, and clarity of needs assessment. The needs assessment is not about you being interesting. It's about you showing your passion and being interested. It's you showing the judges that said, wow, we jumped into this challenge. Wow, we saw this problem and we wanted to provide a solution. And then we did our work. We became interested in the community, interested in the data, interested in the environment, interested in the culture, and we learned it. Number 2, we learned it. And so you have this opportunity in your presentations, in your 77-second film to go, wow, this is what we learned. I mean, you just get points right here based on your curiosity and your passion. How cool is that? Right off the top, bang, you get to turn the judges on by going, whoa, did we learn? Wow, was this powerful? Geez, were we interested? This was amazing, this curiosity and this learning. We were so excited that box number 2, we shared it. We were so excited that we shared it because we had to. We didn't keep it to ourselves. We didn't say, oh, this is amazing. Let's keep it a secret. No, that's not who we are. That's not our time here on planet Earth. If we find something is so exciting, something we're tasting in our perfect curry, we want to share it. So this is basically about shared insights. Number 2, that's collaboration. Who did you share it with? Your team, your campus, your community, your country, your college, other countries? Share it with the world through social media? Did you do a TikTok about it? Did you blast it out on Instagram? Did you share it in Facebook? Did you tweet about it? That is an easy win. These first 2 categories, guys, if you don't blow this out and make it your greatest opportunity, it's your greatest miss. Don't worry about the point system. It's the first points Those points will drive judges to experience and appreciate and give you a higher score for the next 2 points, not just in this race, but in life. If they see you're learning, you're passionate, you're young, you're powerful, you see the world ahead, they will see themselves in you. They will see themselves where they used to be or where they are now or they want to be now. Our judges, our investors, our partners, our people come to Enactus because they love the passion that you project. That's what they want more of, the possible future. So, guys, I beg you, shared insights is so cool. Like, shared insights, kind of like a, you know, maybe not a great way to state. Here's what we learned, and we're so excited about it. We shared it with the world. We shared it because we blew it out on social media. We shared it. We got media. We got attention. We got articles. We did a TikTok challenge. We did all of this stuff because we shared our learnings with the world and we're sharing them with you. That's such a cool opportunity, guys. Please mark this with a circle and a red marker and put a line around it and do it. Focus on your passion and what you learned and how you shared it. And by the way, guys, if you've entered the race and you haven't shared what you've learned, you better get on it. That's your assignment for the next couple of days to make sure you show how you shared. Now, remember, when you get into the top 48, you can update your race. You can update your 77-second film, as Emily said. So you still have the opportunity. You're not done. You have the opportunity to continue to improve. Okay, category number 2, business innovation and entrepreneurial leadership. Okay, now the judges are already coming to us because they know us for innovation and entrepreneurial leadership. Okay, you get to borrow from number 1, the passion and interested and learning, and you get to bring it into number 2 because a good leader will share that information. So the stuff that you pack into number 1, you get to unpack again in business innovation and entrepreneurial leadership. Business and innovation, effective and efficient use of business principles, plan plus innovation in methodology and solution. Kind of heavy words. That's for the judges. They like this precision. For you, you simply are saying, look, we were so passionate about this that we put it into a business plan. We put it into an opportunity going forward to say, this is what we would do. Don't worry about, guys. We were in a pandemic and people understand COVID. Everybody has gone through it. So if you feel like you haven't been far enough in your race, you didn't create enough impact, have a plan. People will invest in you if you have passion and you have a powerful plan. If you get these 2 things right, you can and will not only win races, you will win in life. Have passion, have a plan, and lead it to purpose. Cool? All right. Now, here's the heavy, positive impact. Okay, I'm going to borrow again from number 1 because if your project experience impacted you and your team, you get points. If you share that impact with your friends, your family, and your community, boom, you get more points. Positive impact starts with you. If you were not positively impacted, I'm not sure you could impact anyone else. So if you don't demonstrate the impact of your learning experience and the impact on you first, and let the judges understand, wow, that person was transformed. If you use language in your presentations that says, we were transformed, we were so excited, we wanted to invite others into this transformation, that is hard to argue with. That is a powerful, true, important fact. So you get to borrow, number 1, bring it down to positive impact and start with you. Okay? Now, if you're impacted and you're excited and you're passionate, then you will be the driver of positive impact going forward. Here's the important part. Clarity, significance, and measurability of sustainable positive impact achieved to date for people, planet, and prosperity. Those are a lot of big, heavy words. But when you break it down, it's clear and it's beautiful. It's to say we have a plan for people, helping the oceans, living a better life, measurable impact, making money, shared prosperity, all of those opportunities in and around people. If you say, look, here's our plan, or here's what we did for people, you are a people. You're in that. That impact for people is for you. You remember when you're on an airplane, they always tell you if the oxygen masks should drop down, put yours on first so you can breathe before you put it on another. Because I want to make sure you're okay. Because if you're not okay, you can't help others. So the positive impact starts with you and your team. You get to borrow again from the top and bring it down to the bottom, the impact on people. And then you share that with your campus. A lot of times you think, oh, I'm going to go work in the field, but you didn't share it with people on your campus. Come on, guys, share it with your friends, your family. Your people start with your inner circle. Remember earlier, we did that thread, who matters most to you? Those are the people that you're helping impact. That's the ring. If you don't start with that ring, you can't reverberate. The tide can't flow. It can't spread out. So that little drop in the water with all the beautiful ripples has to impact you, your family, your team, your core first to ripple out effectively to the community. That's people. For planet, no negative impact. Are you cleaning up the planet? Is it better for is your project better for the planet than it was before? Are you protecting what is beautiful? Are you supporting what is possible? Are you helping reforest? Are you helping clean up the plastics? Are you helping create better oceans for sustainable fish and for sustainable solutions and for sustainable life under the surface? Not just above the surface and at the surface, but deep below the surface. Are you affecting the planet in a positive manner? Now, take into account if you're flying a long way, or if you have to travel, or if you're working with a community and that depends on you and it's far away, then you may have a negative impact. So key words are positive impact. If I'm a judge, I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. You put up all your positive impact. Did you create any negative impact? And if you did, how are you compensating for that? And then this last beautiful word is not profits. It's not money. It's prosperity. That is a language driven around the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. It's language of the United Nations. It's language of abundance. It's taking profits into a different lens. Profits is how you choose to share those profits to make people prosperous. And that includes health. That includes healthy dispersion of funds. So some of the most amazing new companies and successful ones, I will take Amazon. You can take Google. You can put SpaceX and everything Elon Musk is doing. They didn't, and are not telling their investors that they're going to make money every quarter. They said, hold on, keep investing. We've got a plan for prosperity. Stay with me. It's going to happen. And they proved it did. That shifts a mindset of these are our profits into this is our plan of prosperity. It's so cool, guys. This is your big opportunity in life, is to shift. And you'll see the best companies in the world, the brands that stand for more, are not at slaves to quarterly profits. It's not to say they're not important, but they're speaking in a sense of prosperity. What does that mean? All of it means diversity, social and economic inclusion, having the right people at the table, making sure that there's women at the table, making sure there's races of all colors at the table. That's all part of prosperity. That's our greater good. That's a greater opportunity for us to succeed as humankind, as human beings. It's far greater than profits. It's prosperity. And if prosperity isn't in your nomenclature, if prosperity isn't in your lexicon, if prosperity isn't on your lips, try it. Speak to it. Talk about it. Tell judges about it, because they're looking at those words. They're looking at those words right down there. And if you didn't start with those words and help the judges, if you don't understand what the judging criteria is, the judges aren't, you need to help the judges through that language. And it starts with clarity. Clarity isn't a bunch of words that you're packing together. Clarity is landing a sentence and letting it breathe and being crystal clear on the words you use. Crystal clear. And then pause. You don't have to use a lot of words. That's number 2 criteria. Let's go to the next slide. Woo, we got a race here. We got to go, go, go. Collaborate. Cool. Oh man, this is a no-brainer, guys. This goes right back to the essence of what did you learn and who did you share it with? You know, our races used to be, and all of our national competitions used to be, I've got the information. I'm not going to share it. I'm going to go lock myself into a room and rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. Collaborate, 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 collaborate. We are natural collaborators on Earth. Doing it is not easy. It's hard. Diplomacy is hard. Collaboration is hard. But if you achieve it, it's good. It's awesome. So who are you collaborating with? Is it other Enactus teams, campuses, communities, companies, influencers? Who are your collaborators? Who are you working with? This could be other NGOs. Put it out there, guys. And I beg you, if you're on this call and you're working in the race, reach out to other teams in the race that you think might be your competitors and embrace them as your collaborator. Because if you run a race, cross the finish line, and get a trophy, you didn't win. What gets shared on social media, what gets talked about, is the emotional trauma of people falling at the finish line and others picking them up and carrying them across. A real winner, a real Enactus leader might cross the finish line, turn around and bring others across. And they might bring everybody across, because that's abundance, that's collaboration, that is true impact. When you collaborate and share with others, you can create a lot more impact. Would you like to be a winner of the race that tied with everybody else, broke the rules, and created new champions? Your story would go down in history, and it would be connected to you. This, number 3, is your opportunity to really break the rules. Collaborate, collaborate, collaborate. In fact, our rules actually invite collaboration. So keep pushing collaboration, because that is innovation. And that is one of the judge criterias, is innovation. To innovate, you open source, you share, you collaborate. Cool. Let's go to number 4, take a couple of questions, and then we'll wrap. Whew. Number 4, communicate, communicate, communicate. All right. So create, talked about criteria, talked about collaborate, talk about communicate. These are the 4 C's, the 4 pillars. So where you can communicate is on Enactus Plus. Fire it up. That's not your be all end all, but it's your start all. Get on Enactus Plus. You may not see a lot of activity and you might go, wow, this is a little lame. There's not much going on. It's up to you. Fire it up. Ask questions. Link to other people and LinkedIn. Use your social media, social network. Communicate your project and, most importantly, your passion to the world. Do not keep your passion to yourself. Get your passion out to the world. Share it in social media, earned media. Tell people your experience, your Enactus experience. If it is transforming your life and you kept it to yourself, it's not transforming others. So help others transform with you. Share your passion, your enthusiasm, your opportunity. Do so in a 77-second film. Remember, that film could be a story about you. It could be a story about your team. You don't have to pack it with a whole bunch of impact. Pack it with joy and passion and the possibility of where we're going through these challenges and problems. Instead of problem solution, think about passion and purpose, okay? And you will find that when you see the world as beautiful, beautiful will find you and attract others. Cool, that's number 4. Let's go to questions and then let's do a little quick preview on the next slide. There they are. Create criteria, collaborate, communicate. We covered all 4 pillars and more. Let's go and see if there's any questions. And I'm going to give you a sneak preview into our next amazing session on storytelling. Questions. Now, don't be shy, guys. Jump in, ask a good question, put it in the chat or unmute yourself. Let's go, go, go. There's got to be questions. I couldn't have been that clear unless I just confused you. I hope not, guys. It's really a pleasure to wake up and to do this every day in my morning and to spend time with amazing social innovators and impactors and enactors and Enactus. Jump in. Thank you.
Hi, Terry.
Brenda, thank you. Says, I'm looking forward. Ha, ha, ha. Hey. Is that
Thank
Metwa?
you so much.
Yeah, Metwa?
Yeah.
Hey, how's it, my brew?
I'm good. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for such a presentation. I just wanted to ask, like, to what stage does the project qualify maybe to be part of the top 48 or top 12?
Right, right.
Should it be implemented, or it can survive even if it's in the ideation phase? I just want to get clarity on that.
Yes, yes, and yes. It can survive even if it's in the ideation stage, and especially if you were an idea with actionable plan. So if you feel like, man, we didn't, because of COVID, because of whatever reason, because we didn't get an early start. If you feel like you didn't get to impact, then please just present your plan. Just share your plan, because that possibility, people will bet on your future. They will bet on your future. They will look at your passion, your power, your team, your presentation, your confidence, and say, I like that team, I like their passion, and they have a good plan, a solid plan. People will invest in you and your plan all day long, your entire lifetime. Do not worry. If you haven't proven impact, but you got a solid plan, get it in the race, guys. Get it in the race. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Does that help?
Yes, it helps. So you helped me so much. Thank you.
Okay, cool.
And Esther, I saw you had your hand up. Do you still have a question?
Yes, I do. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sure can. You have a beautiful voice. Let it out.
Okay, I actually have 2 questions. Yeah. The first question is how can teams who don't have projects for One Race for Oceans or even applied for the One Race for Ocean competition, how can we, still play a role, collaborate, and for
what an awesome question. I'm sorry if I cut you off. Was there more?
No, I just wanted to ask my second question.
Woo! Okay, let me get your first one, because let me answer the first one, because I'm so excited. If you didn't enter the race, take a look for those that did enter and jump in with them. It doesn't have to be your campus or your country. Reach out to them and say, I love what you guys are doing. How can I be part of your team in your race? And if their answer is, well, we're in Brazil or we're in India, the answer is you can, no matter where you are, you can collaborate with others. You could be on their social media team. It could be the first team that breaks the rules across campus, cross countries, and communicates with the rest of the world, and you join in. So don't be restricted. If your team didn't submit, if you feel you're late, you can, work with Emily, but there are so many ways. How can an individual, Emily, find out what other teams there are and communicate with those other teams, including this call? And by the way, just put your name into the chat, because if anybody is on this call, and what country are you in? I heard some beautiful hint of
I'm from Nigeria.
Yes, Nigeria. Okay, cool. All right, if you're in India or you're Brazil, how cool would it be to have Esther along in Nigeria? How cool would that be? So Esther, put your contact and your email into the chat, and I challenge any one of your other teammates to go pick up Esther, because look, she jumped in. She was passionate, right? She exhibited everything. And how cool would it be to say, hey, we got a team member in Nigeria. Now, Esther, you might find one within Nigeria, but you know what? You're not restricted to your country, your neighborhood, your campus. The world is your oyster. The world is yours. And that's how we work towards we all win. What's your second part, Esther, of the question, Nigeria?
Okay, so the second question is about collaboration. I just wanted to just get some little clarity about it. Like, could it be, is it just for working on this project, or is it about working together to create our entries, our videos, our storytelling? I mean, collaboration in what sense? Is it just for the current One Race for Ocean projects that people are working on, or I don't know, is it just about storytelling, or maybe just working together to put creative ideas together, or projects?
Oh my gosh. Bamiduro Esther, thank you, thank you, thank you. First of all, there's her email address. There's a heart emoji and a happy emoji. If you don't connect with this powerhouse young lady from Nigeria, you crazy. You're straight up crazy. Make sure she gets on her team.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you kidding me? You are on our team. That is amazing. So, and anybody else who wants to collaborate or feel left behind, if you're a collaborator, pop your email address in there. Go for it. Put it in the thread. That's what we're here for. Okay, let's get to your second part. Where's the collaboration? So clearly we have 3 races. There's an oceans race. There's a Rethink Plastic. So it's one race for oceans. There is a Rethink Plastics race. There is the climate action race. Soon to likely be, possibly be a food race. So just anticipate that. There is the 77-second film festival. There is your national competition and national events. And there is the Enactus World Cup that Emily and I both work on. That World Cup is about collaboration. So there's so many places to collaborate. And Bamiduro, Esther, if you would like to make a 77-second film that shows that power of your personal passion and that you want to reach out to others in the world, that's a likely winning film right then and there. If this experience of Enactus has transformed you, that is your story that nobody can argue with. And that is at least a 77-second film. And soon it'll be a major motion Esther picture about you, your story. So you don't have to have a complete story in the 77-second film festival. Show people your start. There is nothing more exciting and exhilarating than the start of a race. The start of a race is a story. You don't have to have the finish in your story. That's why we binge watch episode after episode after episode. It's cliffhangers, it's failures, it's successes, it's falling, it's getting up. Those are the stories. That's your passion and that's your story. So Esther, I can't wait for you. I can't wait to see your story. And if there are filmmakers out there, and by the way, join us. Emily, what's the date on our Storytellers series that we could talk more about exactly that?
Absolutely. We'll pop over to the next slide. So
okay.
The dates are not here, but I can share with you in the follow-up. And right now we have 3 upcoming storytelling sessions, one in April, one in May, one in June, all in the first week. So stay tuned for the follow-up after today's call for those exact dates and links to register.
So how cool is Larissa? She jumps in there. Hi, Esther. How are you? Let's talk. Send us an email. I'm the president. We would love to know your team better, you better, whatever. There's no, if you are a little lost and found and you're a person without a team, team up, guys, because everybody on this call is so cool. Put in your email addresses, jump on Enactus Plus. Here's a quick preview, a sneak preview of, it's April, you said what, April 7th?
Yes, we have April 7th, May 4th, and June 3rd,
okay.
I believe.
Invite absolutely everybody to the April 7th session. It's 7 steps for storytellers, 7 steps for storytellers. And it's really not steps, they're giant leaps. And there's a preview of what we're going to talk about, the opportunity and art of being adventurous. Connect with emotion. I touched a little bit about it today. Clever counts. A lot of judges are like, just show me the numbers. Clever counts. And if you've seen your favorite advertising, there's moments of creativity, and there's big moments of just simple, clever, positive impact. And your story is your truth. So when we talk about Esther and you and anybody wanting to, anybody can submit a 77-second film. The film can be about you, your team. There's so many categories in the 77-second film. And in that, we'll talk about permissions and we'll talk about Mission Possible. And it's all coming up on April 7th. I'm so excited to talk to you about it. I have time for 2 more questions. I know we're into overtime. If you had to scoot out, that's cool. We'll take 2 more questions. And then you're invited to the next session where we'll ask a lot more questions. 2 more questions. You can unmute yourself or you can jump into the chat or the thread and ask a question. April 7th, also May 3rd. June's coming up, registration, lots of good stuff coming up, guys. Cool, cool, cool. Don't be shy if you have a question or you have a comment. How was this for you? If I don't know that this was working for you, then I can't continue for you. I can't serve you. Did this work for you? If it worked for you, unmute yourself, speak up. Let me hear you, some feedback. Is this working for you? Are you getting value from this session? Cool. Great. Good thread. Good conversations. Love to collaborate. I see a lot of collaboration comments. Awesome. 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 Very, very good.
Yeah.
Great.
And if anybody would like to collaborate with another team that maybe isn't on the call today, or you come across their project on Enactus Plus, you can always reach out to us at races@enactus.org. You can email us directly and say, hey, we would love to work with this team. We'd love to know how we can connect. I can help facilitate that. I can help put you in touch with the other team. So even if you don't get a chance to reach out today or you're not sure where to start, you can always email us as well, and we can help you make those connections.
So feedback is important. I want to know in the thread if this works for you. You can reply to my question to you, which is, how do you feel now having this information, understanding this? How do you feel about your Enactus experience? Please just feel free to jump into the thread or unmute yourself. But without feedback, it's really hard to know. So thank you. The first one, this was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It wouldn't be amazing without you. It's a great experience. I agree. It is just the greatest part of my day too, and serving you. And that's why I do what I do. Cool. Anybody else, feel free to unmute yourself. Feel free to jump into the thread. Here's a great question. 77-second film is not just for one race for Oceans. Right. It is for all of the races. And also, you can just enter the 77-second film. It does not have to be about a race or a project. It can be about you and your experience and your team. And so please, April 7th, come to the Storyteller series. We'll talk all about how you can turn in a 77-second film on anything. Fantabulous. I like that work. This session was fantabulous. Great insights, Terry. Thank you. It was really great. Thank you so much. Thank you to my my amazing teammate, Emily, who really makes this happen. Thank you, everyone, for the insightful session. It was really great. Thank you so much. I'm reading your threads and your comments. Appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for all of you do. Remember, you've got 4 key cornerstones here to win a race. This isn't just win the Enactus race. This is win the race in your life. Create your path. Be creative. Criteria counts. That's number 2. Number 3, Emily, is somebody's looking at me in the room. I feel distracted. Sorry, create criteria.
Collaborate.
How can I forget collaborate? Cool, of course. And then communicate. Thank you. Those are the 4 cornerstones. Thank you, everybody. Lots of beautiful comments in the thread. I'll keep it open for another 30 seconds so you can provide your feedback. I am deeply grateful. It's a pleasure to be here at service. Emily, any parting words?
No, I think you've covered it. As always, don't hesitate to reach out to us for questions. We were just so thrilled you could join us today, and keep an eye out for future sessions. Things like the Storytellers Workshop. We'll have some fun things over the summer as well. So stay tuned. We'd love to have you along for the race all the way up until World Cup. Even if your team may not advance, we still want to keep you engaged and keep you participating.
Woohoo! Great. A great last question in there. Do the 77-second films have to be related to an Enactus experience? It should be about your experience of impact, you as a social innovator, you and your pathway, and Enactus should be part of your story. So, you know, let that be part of your story. Thank you, Marisa. Thank you. Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Eric. Thank you. Emily, thank you so much. Beautiful.
Appreciate it. We'll follow up with a recording of today's session and the presentation deck as well. So stay tuned and we'll continue to be in touch. Thanks, guys.